Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now that you guys have gone through all the Ocean City videos, we got some more coming for you. Actually, we hit another circuit down in New York and we actually witnessed something rather crazy. But let me bring you guys up to speed. Right now, actually, check that out. We just picked that up yesterday off of Craigslist. My dad's always complaining, oh, the Skylark, it's only a 2-barrel car and I hate the Buick motor in it. But the thing is, the Buick motor's not slow. And for 80 bucks, we found a factory 4-barrel for a Buick 350. So I've got a carburetor I can put on here. I'm actually going to use the Quadrajet that came off the Toronado engine because it has the correct choke right here. Lays down in here kind of like a Chrysler. And see what I mean. Actually, it is a little bit different. I might have to modify something here, but you can see it sits down in here just like the Buick. And on the intake we're using, it's actually got a pipe that goes down inside here. So anyway, here is the 455 for the Wagon. And let's pull the bag off of it, shall we? Alright, looks like it's all painted up. Actually used a combination of different reds because we were running out of paint. And you'll never see it in the car, but the sidewalls of this block is actually painted with leftover Chrysler engine red I had for the Cordoba. Anyway, gaskets are just laying on here for now. I'm gonna wheel this thing out. We're gonna start putting the heads on it. I know what I was trying to get into when I was talking about this intake back here. 68 Cutlass, factory 350, 4-barrel, 2-speed, 308 open rear. Buick 350, 2-barrel, 350 3-speed transmission, 256 posi. If you were to put these cars side by side in a race, they would go side by side for, alright, this thing would definitely get off the line quicker. The Cutlass might take it on the highway a little bit. But the Cutlass can't do burnouts with that 2-speed. It struggles to break the tires loose. This thing not only does burnouts with a 256 posi, but it barks the gears through every time you shift first, second, right into third. So I'm rather interested to see how it's going to perform after we put this thing on the car. Hopefully we'll get that done this summer, because the car's just been sitting way too long and something needs to happen with it. But I don't think it's going to take much to get this on the road because it runs really good and it drives decent. It definitely needs tires at this point in its life, and I've got a set of tires I'm going to use for this car. These are factory 14s and it's got discs in the front, so we need tires. Scuff the body quick, spray paint it for it at this point for all we care, register it and insure it. Alright, so I'd like to share with everybody right now a secret. If this thing explodes, we'll know why. It's not going to explode. Everything's corrected now, but we had an issue with cylinder number 6 right here due to negligence. I got every piston in this block, almost. 6 was one of the last ones I was putting in. We got almost every one of these in here with no problem. And I was distracted and I didn't realize I never rotated the crank to bottom dead center. And even though I had a journal protector on the rod on both the studs, I went and slammed that piston in there and bam, smashed the side of the connecting rod right into the crank. And it was bad. And I bolted it together anyway, just out of curiosity. How bad was it going to eat a bearing? Because what's it take to replace a bearing? It's like $8. And I'd like to show you the bearing that got torn up by the crank. And like I said, everything's corrected now. Chris and Tom came over, and we spent over an hour fixing this crankshaft. Here's the bearing for you. But what we did was, hang on one second. Chris and Tom came over and they brought this sandpaper. I'm not sure what grit it is, but this stuff right here did the trick. We cut it down so it fit inside the journal, and we soaked the paper in oil first. You have to make sure this is soaked good in oil. So you grab it like a shoestring and you just kind of. And the other good news is Tom made an observation that it was on the upstroke of the crank, so it's not like it's going to be under a hard shove when the piston goes down. It is on the return cycle, and it is so smooth now that you can barely even tell there's something there with your nail. Before, obviously, there was something protruding out of the crank that's been filed down, and it's as smooth as a baby's bottom. So no worries there, but take it from me, don't be negligent when you're doing stuff like this, and don't have any distractions going on in the background, because I was upset at first, but everything's fine now. And we're back. I had to run out and sell my buddy John a timing cover for a 302 Ford that he destroyed trying to change a water pump. And I was out about 4.5 hours more than I expected, so didn't get nothing done. Well, that's a lie. I bought some stuff though. I'll show you what I bought on another video. Got some pretty good stuff. That's it. I put the timing chain on it, and that's it. Oh, and I painted the bolts. All the oil pan bolts, valve cover, intake, heads. Well, half the head bolts. I didn't paint the ones that go inside the motor, but would you just look at the size difference on these intakes? You got that one right there. And then this little itty bitty one over here on the floor for the Buick. It's almost a square. Still got some decent weight to it, but oof, not like those old intakes. But either way, that's gonna wrap this video up. Like I said, it's just a really short update. Tomorrow I need to get up early, get down here and actually put the heads on this thing. Put the heads on. I'll get the rockers all installed. Maybe throw the oil pan on it. And I'm not putting the intake on it until I'm ready to get this thing completely finished. I'll do the timing cover, water pump, fuel pump, all that first, because I trust this engine stand, but it makes me a little uncomfortable how right now it's horizontal, but as soon as you start bolting heads and intake on this thing, it goes ugh. So anyway, and after this video you guys will see another circuit that we hit. We went about, I don't know how many miles down south, but still here in PA. We went to York, and there was another circuit going on down there. It was like a street rod custom show. I have to ask Chris what it's called again, but I've never been to it before, and it was really big. It's kind of like Ocean City all over again. So that's an interesting video. Stay tuned for that one. So sit tight and I'll see you soon. Later.